What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome back. It's your boy Blue, and today we're going to be discussing Microsoft Flight Simulator and their latest Discovery Series video all about IFR and ATC. We're going to take a bit of a closer look at it. We're going to break it down, and we'll talk about some things that I like, some of the things that I don't like, some of the things that are missing, and some of the things that maybe you have missed or overlooked in the video. So without further ado, let's get going. So the entire video is all about IFR and IFR operations. We've been waiting a long time to see this video. I'm actually going to skip forward. If you haven't watched the video already, I will have the link to the original video in the description for you to see it for yourself. But first thing I want to talk about is nav data. So you can come right here. Very impressed by the simplicity of this this world map. You basically have the entire Google World Maps or Google Earth here in the simulator, and the way that he's kind of going through here, you can see that you can actually zoom in. You can click on any place in the world, zoom in on it, and put a waypoint there, put a starting position. You can create custom waypoints. I mean, it looks freaking incredible. I'm loving the user interface. The UI is very simplistic, but at the same time, it has all the information you need. It has filters if you want a little bit more information. Has all the nav data, as I said. It also, I believe it has real world departures, SIDS, stars. I took a few notes here from when I watched the video earlier. It also follows the real world AirRack cycle and updates with the real world by default. There's no more, having to buy the AirRack data every month. It's going to be by default a part of the Microsoft Flight Simulator platform, which is a really cool. It's going to be putting a lot of people out of business. I also like how it also has the airspaces. As you'll see here, as he's scrolling in, you actually see the class Bravo of Seattle here. You can see the AI or the live traffic flying in. I really like that you can actually zoom in and do that. I think that's really freaking cool. I really like the fact that you can actually, again, just basically create a waypoint anywhere in the world and start airborne. Like if you don't want to do a full flight, you want to start airborne, you can do that. I think that's a great feature. You could also, as people like me who like to start off cold and dark on the gate, that's also completely possible. Or you can start on the runway. And I also like how the route editing looks so simple, man. Like they really just kind of simplified it. You don't have to use any external or third-party apps or websites to create your flight plan. You can do it all here right in the simulator, and I believe you can import all of this to your FMC, into your Airbus, your Boeing, your TB, and whatever plane you're flying. So it looks pretty easy to edit as well. I'm just really impressed, honestly, by the amounts of features they're packing into this simulator. I mean, we were already amazed by the graphics and things like that. And the flight planning, the easy to use flight planning setup here in the map is really good for people who are new to flight sim. They can basically generate an entire route for you. I believe you could probably manually put in a route yourself too. Like if you are somebody who's a little bit more hardcore flight simmer, or you're a real life pilot and you want to put a real world route in there, I'm pretty sure that's possible. I see that they have all the real world standard arrivals and departures in here. Like that's pretty legit. Like that's dope. I'm really glad they're doing that. And I think that, again, that us hardcore simmers and casual simmers are gonna really be able to mesh here and really make things work. Look at that. That's really cool. And I do like the G1000 setup in a lot of the cockpits, but one thing I don't see a lot is a lot of the steam gauge stuff. I also have not yet to see any aircraft with like any kind of GNS 430. I know they mentioned having it, but we haven't seen any proof of that in any videos yet. They've mentioned the G1000 and a lot of the G1000 variants, but we're not seeing a lot of steam gauges. I think it's really important to make sure those steam gauges work. And as you can see here, they're showing off one of the, using ADF, being able to, fly with VFRs, flying with the radios. This is very important for people like me who are real life flight students. So I think that's really important to cater to that market too. And we want a real flight simulator. We want to be able to do real world flights in here. We want to be able to use it for training. If you really want it to be a long-term product, you want flight schools to take it seriously as a serious training tool, you then definitely need to be able to do more than just G1000 programming, because a lot of planes have that whenever you go to flight school, but it costs a lot more money to rent a C-172 with a G1000. Most of us 90% of people are going to train in the old-fashioned steam gauge Cessna 172, Piper 152, whatever. So hopefully we'll see more of that, or at least see some versions of those in some of these GA planes. I'll say one thing, man, the Airline FMS and MCDU programming looks legit. Like, you can see that they have all the departures, the airways, the altitude restrictions. Like, there's no more paying for extra nav data, like I said, from an outside source. It's all included and continually updated in the sim. Like, you don't just get like 1 year's AirAC data and you're stuck with that for the rest of your sim life. It's gonna continuously update. I think it's an extremely important thing, and I'm really hoping, and that we have a really good FMS system that works. It's not too buggy in the by default, because a lot of the current sims right now, you have to get an extra add-on. You got to get an extra third-party airline to really get a legit, really cool, I shouldn't say cool, I should say a really legit working FMC or MCDU to get you from point A to point B, like you would if you were flying a real airline. So we'll see what they do, but right now it looks like by default they really have a really great starting point. I'll also say, I know I'm not playing the video with sound, but if you're watching the video, if you go back and watch the video, if you haven't watched it already, definitely go back and watch the original video. But the A320neo sounds amazing right here on this takeoff roll. Like, it sounds so freaking good. And then as you watch, as it flies up through the clouds, it's so satisfying, whenever you're in that airliner or any plane in general, and you're just cutting through those clouds, and you come and you peek out the top and the sun comes out. Like, it's so satisfying, and I'm just getting that thought watching this A320 fly through the clouds here. And one thing I like to do personally is I love kind of like, for one, I love cloud surfing. Who doesn't love cloud surfing? But I also love flying in between the crevices and the canyons at the top of the clouds. Like, I think that's a lot of fun to do, and it looks like it's something you can definitely do here on Microsoft Flight Simulator with the new weather. And looking forward to really playing around with that a lot. I honestly don't have a lot to say about ATC. I do like the fact that they're actually showing an entire IFR flight with in-game air traffic control from start to finish. I mean, they're speeding it up, but they started it from clearance delivery all the way to landing and parking at the gate, and it seems to be working pretty good. We'll see really whenever the final build comes out how well ATC works. I'm still really interested to see how we can incorporate Microsoft Flight Simulator with other services like Pilot Edge or VATSIM, PostCon, all these other multiplayer networks. Also, another question I have is, is it a possibility to allow real players to be ATC inside of Microsoft Flight Simulator instead of having the AI be ATC? It's something I think that would be really cool. So I don't know. That's questions we don't know the answer to yet. Another thing I noticed while watching this Airbus fly through its IFR flight from Vancouver to Seattle is that if you really pay attention, you have to watch it a few times and notice it, but you see that as he's changing the knobs for the autopilot, the vertical speed, the heading, the nav mode, all that kind of stuff, the plane is actually really aggressive. And again, this is all alpha footage, so I know that they're still working on it, but look at that, he's going 4,000 feet vertical speed right now. And you'll see that climb and go up, and so I think that's something they probably need to work out with the bugs. It just kind of like, it jerks up and then it jerks down, and it looks kind of unpredictable right now. So I'm pretty sure that's something they need to work on to make that a bit smoother. Something I've definitely noticed in the videos of the A320 so far. But this right here is really cool. A live weather radar inside the cockpit of the A320neo. I'm not sure the 747 is gonna have that. I don't see why not. But I think, again, another great starting point, man. I think it's great that it has it by default. A lot of these features we're seeing in Microsoft Flight Simulator right now are things that we have to pay for. We have to download as a third-party add-on for our current simulators like X-Plane, like P3D, like FSX. They don't come with it by default, and I really feel like Microsoft Flight Simulator is really setting the bar high with its default line. You know what I mean? Right here, this A320neo looks amazing. It looks incredible. Those clouds look beautiful. Reflections. I mean, it's just I know you guys feel my pain. I know you guys just love what you see, and I'm looking forward to the new generation of flight sim. And wow, this right here looks amazing. Look, flying right over, I believe that's Boeing Field on final into Seattle International in the A320neo and breaking out of the clouds. It looks amazing. Like, it's incredible. I know we've seen video already of the Seattle area. We know they've already kind of done a lot of work in that area, so it's kind of polished. out there. So it makes sense they do a flight in a polished area that they've already showcased. They've already put a lot of attention in, but this just looks incredible, man. This beautiful approach into Seattle. You can see him right on the PAPI lights. He's fully established on the localizer and ILS, coming in to land, and it just looks good. Got baseball fields down there on our right. Trees all over the place. I am seeing a little bit of stutter here in the frames on his system, so I'm not sure what kind of system he's running this on, but we've already seen the specs. Look at that glare, just the lights flashing. It's just, man, I'm loving it. And then you get the storm in the distance, or the overcast clouds, and here comes the landing. One thing I did notice is, for one, it was a pretty rough landing right there, and for two, there's no tire smoke. So I'm not sure if that's something that they're expecting to do in the future. Definitely, I don't see why they can't incorporate tire smoke. And then also the wing flex looks really good at the end of the wings on the A320neo. But other than the rough landing, I mean, I don't have a ton of bad things to say about this video. Let me know what you think about the latest Discovery series. You know, what did you think of the route planning? Do you think it looks easy enough? Do you think that, what do you think? What do you feel about the screen? Is there anything that I missed? Please let me know. But let's keep the discussion going, guys. I know you're excited about MSFS, and so am I. But until next time, guys, you know what it is. Remember, you have three choices: give up, give in, or give it all. You got peace, love, and God bless you. I will see you guys next time, next video.